I'm Karen. This is Diane. Welcome back to one of our Soul Light Collective conversation. We had actually had a previous conversation where we had talked about being energy healers, and we thought, like, what does that? Does everybody even know what that means? Like, what does that mean to be an energy healer?
Was introduced to energy healing back in when I was getting my massage therapy certification.
Mhm.
It was part of the curriculum. We had to take a Reiki class, and that was like Reiki level 1 and 2. And I had no idea what it was. Didn't know. Was very skeptical, but I had to give and receive during that class time, and it was different in the sense, whereas massage, which is really another form of energy therapy, massage therapy, everything is energy. Um, but instead of moving like the actual and manipulating the soft tissues of the body, whereas massage, you're usually, um, have exposed skin. Reiki, you leave your clothes on and you lay on a massage table. And the practitioner's hands are either directly on the recipient's body or hovering over the body. And energy healing or Reiki is energy that's guided by something greater than ourselves. Spirit guided energy, the divine. There's so many universal life force energy. But the premise being everything is made out of energy, including people, our thoughts, our emotions, our physical bodies, our spirits. Like it's all energy, our soul, and energy moves within our body as well as we have an energetic field around our body. And when our energy is, I'll give you an example. If you're feeling really sad or perhaps having feelings of depression, you're really at a low point, right? It feels heavy. You're kind of like your body language is sort of, you're caving in a little bit. You're not really motivated to do anything, right? That's a very, you're vibrating, your frequency
Mm.
is pretty much as low as it can be before you're not living at all. Um, on the flip side, when you're experiencing, pure joy or love, or just like having the best time of your life, being laughing, being around other joyful people, you feel lighter in your
Mm.
body. You feel more alive. You feel more free. You feel more expansive. You are motivated. You're excited, and so those are two very different experiences that, as humans, we all go through them, and we always will be going through them. Energy healing is releasing those lower, denser frequencies in the body, not just the physical, but on the emotional level, on the mental and spiritual, so holistically. And as energy channels, which Karen and I are conduits, and really we all are,
Mhm.
this is just what we do for
Yeah.
our work. And we work with people to help them tap into their own inner healers, as well as teach others how to access um, and be energy healers themselves. And we are the vessels, like we are
Mhm.
attuned to these higher frequencies through all the healing work that we have done
Yes.
over the years, release
Lots of work.
lots of work releasing these denser energies of trauma, of generational, ancestral, past life stuff that we've carried into this world.
I will start with just receiving my very first one. Again, this was all new to me. I was not in a massage class. I was just starting to really find my community changing. As I was healing, I found myself surrounded by beautiful people who all had beautiful, I don't want to see skills, gifts, beautiful gifts. And I started exploring within my community. And I agreed. I had to convince myself, like, I'm going to get a Reiki session. Like, oh my, who's going to let me do it? And I remember before I even stepped into the session that day, I was like, I was feeling overjoyed. And I was like, oh my God, something big is happening for me today. And I had a lot of excitement. And I just remember having a lot of visual experiences while I was on the table. And I had she had a beautiful eye mask for me, and I remember just like, whoa, like, where am I? Like, I'm so in my body right now and physically feeling what was going on around me. And I just had an amazing experience. And it was not soon long after that I was like, sign me up. Right. And I think that's how it goes. Sign me up.
Uh-huh.
And I found myself on that track, like Reiki. I went right through the classes, um, and we do work on ourselves as energy healers. We work on ourselves. That is part of the attunement process. And I found that the more quiet I got and the more I explored with it, opening myself up to healing my own energy, that was probably like the building of it for me. And again, the whole like process for me was continuing to open, continuing to open, continuing to open as I healed. And I think that when I started doing energy healing, I felt that the majority of people I was working with were people who were on a very similar track as me. I didn't have a lot of people coming who didn't know what was going on, and they weren't seeking like I don't know what this is, and I didn't have to spend a lot of time um, going through the basics, and we would just dive in, like, and it was just like, how far can we go? And these beautiful energy sessions that we were doing were opening me more and more, and I was watching my clients open more and more. And I think empower was a word that came up, and I found myself in a position where the more I empowered myself, I was helping other people to empower themselves. And learning, like, it was learning for myself, learning to connect up and bringing that energy down differently. And it felt different, and exploring more. And it was an exploration. And learning energy healing was an exploration of my own journey that I could turn around and help others
Mhm.
experience at that level. We eventually reach a point in our healing journey where we can simply attract who needs to come to us,
Mhm.
right? There's that like that light that we emit. And we were talking about this in another video about being the beacon, and like calling in people that need us. I don't think that I don't know. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? I don't like the clients that we start to work with.
Yeah, and I guess I want to say to
Yeah,
that,
feel free to go
like,
back.
you don't have to be doing this for work. Like, if you want to,
No.
Karen's talking about like attracting, all those who need our services just by attuning to the energy of that. But you could be attuning to the energy of attracting the perfect soulmate for yourself,
Beautiful segue. Yeah.
or the perfect new home. It's aligning yourself with the energy. And what does that mean? Well, that means you're connecting with your soul light. You are aligned with the divine. You are plugged in to the higher frequencies of joy, of love, of peace,
Mm,
of abundance within yourself. You're not looking anywhere outside of it. It's you're connecting to that place within to
yeah.
be in alignment with what it is you want to bring into your life. Um, so I wanted to share
No,
that.
and I'm glad you did that, because and there is that again, that heart opening process that we go through, and watching clients go through that and being able to see them
Mhm.
advance themselves to the direction that they wish, right? Bringing in new love, bringing in new experience. Travel was a big one. A lot of people are like
Mm.
starting to travel. Um, um, the I feel like the journey of the energy healer, like that's a whole, like that's like a little bit what I was talking about. That was my journey of the energy healing. Um, brought me to that heart opening, and brought me to that being able to shine my light from an authentic place, from a place of love, from a place of expression, and learning to use my voice much better. And but it's so interesting, because what I love of what we're talking about is thinking back to the early days. And we were seeking the table, we were seeking the energy, we were seeking the connection with the healer, um, energy healer. And we were seeking all of what was ahead of us. And I love that we're looking back a little bit and talking about like that beautiful opening that we went through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just the fact, for those of you who maybe haven't seen some of our other videos, Karen and I, we used to work in corporate together back in the 1990s.
Yes.
And we kind of just went our separate ways after getting married and having kids and moving. I live in a different state now, and we reconnected last year. And again, we were working in corporate. We reconnected through a mutual Facebook group that we had joined, for light language, which is a form of energy frequency
Energy.
that we
Yep.
talk about in other videos. But it's neither of us really knew that we were kind of going on similar paths all those years, because it wasn't happening when we were working in corporate
No,
together.
it wasn't. Yeah.
So
We were, yeah, there was those beautiful, like we were all working and getting married to our perspectives and having our family. And that's such a beautiful time early on in the journey, and stepping away from each other for all these years and then coming back and like, well, what have you been doing? Like, what have you been doing? And I love that we our parallels have kind of aligned, that we can sit here and start talking a little bit about our different journeys. And I think that I find myself bringing up the past a little bit because I'm finding myself needing to send love back to those young adults that we were, and just craving what was around us, looking outward, all the things that were outside of us. And I love that we're here in our, I won't say it, our older years, and with this understanding and this knowing of what truly brings me joy and love and compassion is the inward journey. Yeah.
yeah. And the inward journey, can feel scary at times, and it can feel isolating at times, but that is why we're here. I've said this before. That is why we're here, to do this work, this inner work, to come into that alignment with our truth, with our lights, with our soul, with our soul's purpose.
We are so much more than these human bodies, and that we bring forward simply what's needed, and stepping onto an energetic healing path was the opening for me for that, and wanting to serve others by giving to others what I experienced and within my opening. And I think that anyone who's thinking about stepping into energy, I'm hearing frequency. I'm hearing energetic frequency healing. It is your divine right.
Yeah.
Like we are all able to remember, we are able to access, and we are able to step into that opening and serve others and help others. And I think that's a little bit about how we became energetic healers.
Maybe I'm thinking maybe you would like to share a little bit about how you work with people. What is the session like for you now?
Oh my gosh.
How I know both of our practices have evolved over the years.
Yes.
How we're showing up, how we're being guided to show up, to be the facilitators for this work.
So I've learned through my work with clients, what I've learned is that the healing session has progressed over time. And as I continue to open, I'm able to help my clients open, that I just started working a little differently. And that was kind of like, whoa, this is not in the manual. And right, there's kind of that like,
Right.
whoa.
No,
I'm
is
actually
there a certification for this one?
No, and there's actually I've never done this before. I'm gonna quote a book. There's a book by a local author up in New England called Psychic Reiki, which was the first
Oh yes, I've
time
read
I
that.
read a book
Mhm.
by Lisa Campion. A fabulous book. And that book
Right.
really opened me up to, whoa, this is what I'm doing. This is what happens in my set. Whoa, I didn't know I could do that. And allowed myself to open more and more. And my sessions started to turn more into a lot of messaging. and a lot of specific targeted areas, energy centers that needed to be healed versus the whole body. A lot of light coding coming in, a lot of light language coming in, a lot of myself as the practitioner working in a higher state, working with color around the body, allowing myself to be guided by my team that was standing around me and my client's team who was standing around them.
And just for clarification, when
Yeah.
you say team, what does that mean? What does
What does
that
that
look
mean?
like?
So a
Yeah.
lot of times there will be higher dimensional beings of light who will enter into the session. A lot of times there'll be one of the spirit animals coming in. I just heard bear say it, like like me. I work a lot with bear, and um, sometimes ancestors on the client side. Sometimes my ancestors coming in. Sometimes there would be ascended masters. Like there's that beautiful layer of available spiritual layer of help available to us through the masters. Being aware there would be an angel, and I could see the color of the angel, their energy body standing. Archangel Divine Mother Mary always would come in and bring in the most loving presence, and just to be in with all of that at the same time that you're acting as the conduit and you're the channel in these teams, these spirit guides, so many more. There's too many to mention. Guiding, leading, right? Reminding me that I am the conduit and reminding me that I have a connection with this person and that's why they're here. And just it would get wild, right? It would be beautiful. My not needing to touch, basically at the end of the work that I was doing, was sitting at the head of the table with just my hands on their shoulders and not even working around the table doing energy centers anymore, letting the team come in and do it. Having clients tell me that I could feel you on my feet. I'm like, I've been up here the whole time. So trusting
Yeah.
and working in guidance with these higher dimensional beings of I'm just hearing of huge like service to love, right? Like really bringing in that layer that we've never really even experienced of love, like, and being in that and having my clients being able to experience that. And my favorite is having them report back to me, like when I'm experiencing something or what's going on, they're fully aware at the same time. No, I saw that. I felt her. I was aware of this. And there's this, that synchron, hmm, flow of we're in the same place at the same time outside of time. There's a
Yeah.
little bit about my sessions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. So, it's so good.
And
Yeah.
just being open to more, like there's that whole path, like being open to receiving more and to being like letting it in and having my client trust that they're safe.
Yes. Yes. That's big.
And what were you finding? What was
Very similar, really.
yeah,
I mean, from going from uh, being the massage therapist for many years, and then, as I've spoke about before, starting as my clair senses started coming online, receiving intuitive messaging and guidance, but because I was there to, you know, give a massage to somebody, I didn't feel like it was my place to, when I was hearing as loud as like if it felt like someone was screaming in my ear, big toe, big toe, big toe, like what does that mean? I'm not going to just like, what do I say to this person just because that's the message I'm hearing.
right.
But knowing now, there's always a connection, and there's, you know, it's not for us to interpret. It is, we can, you know, give our felt sense of what we might think it could be, but it's really intuitive information coming through for the person we're working with to understand, or,
Yeah.
you know, so yes, I work very, very similarly. We both work with clients in person and remotely, and with energy, there's no time or space, there's no boundaries. Somebody can live on the other side of the world and we can still have an incredibly powerful session with them, which I always love doing, working with people long distance, because it is just so powerful. I find that things are getting released quicker now than they used to, which is beautiful. I just feel like because of the way the planet is ascending, the energies are moving quicker. Yes, channeling, being a channel, being a conduit for higher frequencies to come through, whether they're coming through as light language, which we've touched on in other videos, but really quick, light language is not a language that you study and learn. It's a frequency that we're attuned to, that is the language of the soul, and it's here for our healing and ascension. So Karen and I both use that in our practices, and it's just gentle but very powerful transformational work that the client I worked with yesterday was just, this was a virtual session. She contacted me because she was having low-grade depression, and the beautiful thing about it is we sort of step out of the way. It's not us doing something to a person. We are just again, the messenger, the conduit. And so we are receiving these energies for them, for their greatest and highest good, whatever that might look like, feel like, sound like. But at the end of this session, and I hear this so often, and is why I do this work, is I have no words. I can't even express to you how good I feel right now, and how clear and how much love and joy I'm experiencing right now. And there's always tears of joy, of release, of relief. So it's incredibly powerful work. And I encourage all of you, if you have not experienced working with your energy, or working with an energy healer or Reiki practitioner, to seek one out, whether it's us or somebody else, because it is a beautiful, beautiful practice that everybody should experience.
Yeah, and I think that's so good that you say that, because I feel that also that, early on, I don't know if I got the message that, like, I could take it and I could expand as I was expanding, to expand with it. And I found there's that little bit of that fear, that I have that beautiful layer of fear that always served me. And maybe I shouldn't be doing that. And clearly that the journey as the healer is to, energy healer, the healer is to explore themselves, right? And open more to serve the person that comes to them. And you are free, you have permission to do that. You don't need to seek that from somebody else. And we are speeding up in time, and things are going much quicker right now. And what we used to do in the old is really not needing to come forward. And I think it speaks a lot of the healing people have done. I think that as a planet, as a consciousness, we are stepping in and we are healing and we are heart opening and expanding. That, a lot of the old processes can be left behind. And just to assure somebody who's stepping into healing as an energy healer, to allow themselves, like, not to hold themselves back. I can speak to that because I was on that journey of like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. Oh, is this right? And was I receiving outside permission, or was I needing outside permission to take my practice, my spiritual practice, to that level? And I encourage anybody not to hold themselves back, and to use their expression, and to use their channel, and use their words, and serve, right? It's so beautiful. But it was a journey to get there. I will say that it took me a while to get there.
Yeah, it's the area that I live in now isn't as open
Mhm.
to this kind of work as it is in other parts of the country. It's certainly getting more and more recognized, but I live in a very uh, a strong concentration of Western medicine.
Mm.
And I look forward to, whereas I get a lot of questions, well, is it covered by insurance? Do you take insurance? No, unfortunately, no.
Not
I'm
yet.
actually glad. I
Yeah,
don't really want to deal with insurance
not
companies.
at all.
It's not in most, I think with most, I mean, maybe could be under alternative medicine for some insurance companies, but not usually. So it is out of pocket, but you don't need as many sessions as you would like chiropractic care or physical therapy or
Yeah.
something like that,
I
right?
think that
Or traditional talk therapy,
s-
counseling,
beautiful. And I think,
psychotherapy.
I didn't mean to interrupt, I apologize.
No,
I think that I would often find my clients at the end of the session would stand up like, what was
what
that?
just happened?
What just happened? And that beautiful question that would always come up was, when am I supposed to come back?
Yes. What do you
And how
recommend?
did you answer it? Why don't you go first? What was your
How
answer?
do I answer that? I get that all the time. Well, when,
Yeah.
when should I see you
When
again?
do I do next? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you just listen to your body and you'll know when the next
Yeah.
layer is ready to be moved, shifted, cleared, you will know. But I never tell anybody, it's going to take this many sessions.
Exactly.
Listen to your body and
Yeah.
these energies, even though, some people sometimes not so much in my sessions now, but in the past, maybe would fall asleep on the table and they just get up, be like, well, what just happened? Like, I just feel that was relaxing. Thank you. Geez, I just gave you
Yeah.
all this money and I fell asleep. But
There's that
it's
trust.
that's just that trust, right? We have to trust that
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if you're asleep. It doesn't matter if you're,
Yeah.
awake. It does matter that you're open to the process. And yes, there can be some skepticism,
Mhm.
absolutely, but trusting and knowing that this is something greater than us. And your body knows what to do. These energies know what to do. This team of yours knows
Yes.
why you're here. It is not an accident that go to have a session with a certain person, and trusting that whatever is ready to be released within your field, and you may not notice it, but over time, you will look back and be like, wow, I used to think this way, or I used to have this pain in this part of
Mm.
my body, or I used to have these thoughts about myself, or I used to, feel more anxious, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And I always just would tell my clients, like, you know how you feel right now? Watch for the shift, like, and
Mhm.
give it a week or two after you feel that shift. And, again, pay attention to what's going on around you and how you're feeling. And
Right.
that's when you think about it again.
Yeah.
I think this has been amazing. I love that we've
Great
explored
conversation.
this and
Yes.
had that opportunity to, like, to show a little differences of how we stepped into
Mhm.
it, and how we've come back together, and sharing all of our information to help the next person. And I think that we can, it's one person, we touch one soul at a time, right?
That's
And
right.
if our light is bright enough that you're listening and you're feeling something from hearing any of this, leave us a comment, ask us a
Mhm.
question. We will respond. Feel free to reach out to us individually. Our information is below. Like this comment, like this video, and
Subscribe to
share.
this channel and
Yep.
share,
And share.
share
We're
it.
just here to serve.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you so much, Diane.
Yeah. Thanks, Karen. Always great connecting with you and with all of you watching or listening out there. We'll be back next time.